What's great about Shelburne Community School is the people that are underneath this roof and within the walls. We have a phenomenal group of teachers. I think this may be one of the most supportive communities of education that I've ever been exposed to.
It's a wonderful community, and the kids and the teachers work really hard to just do the best that they can possibly do and achieve at the highest levels they can.
I can't tell you how many times I brag about the students that we have in this building, how wonderful they are, how hardworking they are, and the outcomes that we are able to achieve. It really is a fantastic school. Well, there are two pieces we're trying to address with this bond proposal. One is we have a 50-year-old building, built in 1967, and so there are some fundamental things. I think anybody who owns a 50-year-old house knows some things just wear out and needs to be fixed. We have a roof that leaks on a regular basis, needs to be replaced. We have some windows that need to be replaced, some infrastructure pieces. Our bathrooms are a bit undersized, the plumbing. So we clearly want to bring this building up to speed that way. And then our conversation has been, educational thinking has changed a lot since 1967. So this is an open concept building. If we were to walk down through it, we would find ourselves able to walk through every single classroom. There isn't a corridor, there isn't doors. In fact, there really aren't even windows in the classroom per se, because the corridors run along the windows, and then you have these classroom spaces right behind. So any noise that's happening in one classroom interrupts the classrooms on either side. If I walk down a hallway, I can interrupt 25 students instantaneously and take them off task, regardless how engaging that teacher is.
When students are controlling their learning, it doesn't look as much like whole class instruction. It looks much more like individualized plans that students work off of. And that requires things like smaller spaces where there can be collaboration between students, where there can be collaboration in smaller areas, quieter areas for adults with students. The diversity of students makes for a need for, again, a smaller space, a location that might just have more technology in it, but away from this idea of a larger classroom space.
So we know that, especially for some of our most challenged students, our building is clearly not helping but interfering with their education. So one of our big safety concerns is just the ability to lock down the building. Unfortunately, in 2014, we hear about situations where schools need to do that. All of us in education are conscious of how do we keep our young people safe? And that requires the ability to lock down a building, and that usually means behind locked doors. And we recognize in the open classroom concept, at any one time, there might be 300 students that really don't have the ability to get behind a locked door. That's not our entire building, but it's part of our building, and it's the part we're really looking to address the safety issues by the redesign work.
So we have lots of doorways in our building, and access to rooms is so far away from the central location. One of our thoughts is to have just this idea of funneling people much more to a central location where we have cameras, we can see who comes in.
Things are different than they were in 1967. We didn't worry about having locks on every door. We didn't worry about making sure that there was the ability to double check who's coming in the door, who's entering the building, and have a secure entryway where they don't immediately have access to all of our students within the building.
So after the close vote in March on the last school bond vote, the school board went back and did several things. First and foremost, we needed to get a better understanding of the town's feelings as to why they voted yes or why they voted no. And really two themes came out strongly. The first is we needed to do whatever we could do to cut costs from the proposal. Needless to say, citizens in Shelburne are very supportive of schools. We appreciate that very much, but cost is a very real factor. So that was one thing that came through. The second thing is people really wanted choices. They felt like there was only one vote on the table for the whole kit and caboodle. So over the course of the summer, a lot of scrutiny around cost. We were, at the end of the day, the facilities committee was able to cut $2 million off of the proposal. We decided to split up the bond vote into two pieces. The first just covers the roof. The second part of the vote is Article 2. That covers the D&E wing renovations as well as all the window replacement. There are a number of community meetings coming up where voters can learn more about the proposals, can ask a lot of questions, can see the classrooms in more detail. Again, we really encourage voters to get out and learn as much as they can about this proposal. It's vital for fundamentally the students and people of this town.
When we as a community and a school board first started exploring the issue of improving the facility, what drove it was we've got a roof that needs to be repaired and we've got some windows that need to be fixed. And we sat down and immediately recognized that we will be missing an opportunity if we don't address the education that takes place underneath. We might have the prettiest facade to this building, but ultimately what draws people to Shelburne and draws people to this community is not our pretty building, but it's the education that happens underneath that roof and behind those windows.